Hey, so welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming. It is 6 o'clock on Sunday, November the 7th. Today is the launch of our Sunday Soul Activations classes. And these classes I'm going to be running on Sundays at 6 p.m. starting next weekend. This is a free one to launch it. And every month I'll be changing topics. So November, the topic is about healing the body. December, I'm going to do them as I get guided intuitively, but also based on what's happening, you know, in the world. So December is going to be a bit more based around shadows, and because we're all going home to our family or it's Christmas. And then in December, I'll get there for January. So every month it's going to be changing. And so we'll spend the first 3 Sundays together. So November is going to be the last 3 because this is the first week, but 3 weeks together on Sundays at 6 p.m. They're recorded, so you'll have unlimited access to the recording. And how it's set up is I'm going to teach for the first little while, and then I'm going to do a Q&A, and they're going to separate them more from a recording point of view. But that way you guys can listen to the material, have a pen and paper handy, and go through some processes as we get going here, so you can get some information and then digest them and then do questions at the end, if that makes sense. So welcome everybody. And if there's burning questions as we get going, feel free to type them in. Okay. I may or may not address them until the end, but I promise you I will address your questions as we go on. So thank you everyone for showing up live. I really, really, really appreciate it. It's amazing to be teaching again. I've taken some time off, as some of you know, teaching all kinds of other stuff, and then with COVID, but I'm really excited to be doing the Sunday Soul Activation. I get so excited when I get guided to teach something. It's just like, yay, something fun. And if you don't know and haven't registered, I'm teaching a class tomorrow night that's free as well for the ICT program. It's on my website, drdivi.com. It's on the homepage. And right now it says on there, it's just tomorrow night, but Lynette and I were talking earlier today. We're very intuitive and we just decide things in the moment. It's actually a 4-part series. It's the next 4 Monday nights, and it's on different topics. So tomorrow night is energy and divine feminine. Then we'll also be doing the topics of I think money. There's 2 other topics, ancestors. There's one other topic, and forgive me, I can't remember it right now because I'm focused on this, but please register for that. You're going to have a blast. We're going to go through different processes each week. If you've taken the ICT course before, which is the Intuitive Coach Training Program, I know there's a lot of you on here who have taken it. It's we haven't changed the course, but we've deepened it. We've added some other things like the divine feminine, ancestral work, and we're going to be introducing a lot of those in these modules on Monday. So please register for that. That starts tomorrow night. Go to my website. It's on the homepage. Can't miss it. Anyways, that's that. So let's get started. Go ahead and close your eyes. Let's go into meditation and just bring yourself into your body. I get so excited. I need to calm down. So everyone close your eyes and just breathe in and out. With your eyes closed, allow your belly to rise and to fall. Take an inhale and move into an exhale. Go into an inhale and then fall into an exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Belly rises and belly falls. If you've never done it before, try to place one of your hand on your belly button and the other hand on your chest wall and see which hand is moving more. If you've never done this before, chances are the hand over the chest wall is moving. So focus with your conscious mind and think of your hand on your belly button and allow it to rise and allow it to fall and allow it to lift and allow it to drop. And try using conscious focus to make the belly hand expand and drop more than your chest hand. By doing this, you're actually stimulating your parasympathetic nervous system, calming you down. If you're newer to this, your chest wall is usually moving a bit more because that's more of your sympathetic fight or flight. So there you go. Just breathe into your belly hand. Beautiful, everyone. Beautiful. Take 5 more breaths. Bringing all of yourself here, regardless of what happened on your weekend, collecting your energy. for the fabulous Sunday night class that you've decided to show up in. Opening your heart, centering your mind, and being present. Slower, deeper breaths. I can feel some of you just want to stay here, which is perfect. And if you're ready, go ahead and gently open your eyes. And you can stay here longer if you want. It's perfectly fine. So welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. And we're going to be doing mini breaks of the meditation as we go through tonight's class. And you'll see, okay? So in tonight's class, if I lose you, don't worry, it's being recorded, okay? I know a lot of you have come to my classes before, so thank you. And you know that I tend to, sorry, I just have to mute. I tend to go a little bit heavier in the right brain, more on the meditative side, and I am going to be doing a lot of that, but I'm also going a little bit more into the left brain, into the thinking, logical side, so that your brains can understand the healing from a different vantage point. So we're going to jump back and forth, okay? So tonight, if you lose me for 2 seconds or 2 minutes or 20, don't worry about it. A, it's recorded, and B, you're going to get what you need to get. Because like I said, I'm going to bounce before your logical thinking brain and your right intuitive brain, to do a dance so that both sides can understand healing from a different perspective. So tonight's class is divided into 4 big sections. And again, I'm just telling you this in case I lose you, okay? So the first part I'm going to talk about me in just a second, leave it alone. We'll be talking about quantum physics, okay? And I may or may not lose you there. I don't think I will, because I tried to make it more palatable. Then we're going to be talking about the human brain and the 3 big parts of it. And then we're going to be talking about the stress in the body and subconscious mind. Then we'll be talking about metaphysics. The metaphysics part is my most fun part, as some of you know. But so if you're like, oh God, this is boring, don't worry, it gets better. Okay, trust me. But if you're finding the first part boring, it's usually like the quantum physics part is because that's where it could help you to learn something. Trust me. Okay, so let me tell you a bit about me, because I know there's a lot of people who don't know me who are here tonight. So welcome, everybody. I'm Dr. Divi, and thank you again for showing up live. My background, I'm not going to spend a whole ton of time. You can read my website. Background is I'm a family physician. So I went to school for about 20-something years ago. I graduated in my 20s and I'm in my 50s. So you guys do the math. And when I was 28, I got quite sick. It's all in my TED Talk. I got quite sick. And the only thing that got me better were alternative things like yoga and meditation. And what really helped me to understand was the process of the mind and thoughts. And through yoga and meditation, it took me into the world of intuition. I always say by accident. And I did a number of intuitive trainings about, my son is 17. So I started them when he's 16. So when I was pregnant with him is when I started. So about 17 years ago. Then I started my intuitive coaching business about 12 years ago. And so what I do now is I coach clients one-to-one, intuitive coaching. I also do couples work, and I also teach a lot of classes. So I teach this class, and I also teach a Tuesday night class, which some of you are going to come to the webinar about tomorrow, called Intuitive Coach Training, which is a really deep dive into learning about how to raise your intuition and heal your lives. There's 2 huge parts of a year-long course. Then I also teach smaller classes. So I've got an abundance class coming up in a couple of weeks. I haven't launched on my website, but it's November 27th, I think. So I do like different things, and I play and dance depending on what my intuition says. And so that's a bit about me. I'm an MD turned intuitive coach. If you've never worked with an intuitive, I'm going to describe what it is. We've got some of the most fabulous intuitives on the air right now with us who are watching. So this is what an intuitive does. This is you. This is your higher self. You can call it your soul, call it your spirit, call it your higher self, call it the universe. This part of us talks to us all day, every day. It comes in the way of gut feelings, intuitions, inner knowings, and 6 senses. A lot of times we're not listening to it. We're busy, we're raising kids, we're trying to find money, we're doing whatever we do. So when I work in sessions with clients, they typically come to see me because something's going on. Maybe they've got a health problems, or they've got a relationship problem, whatever. They come in to see me for a reason. So when clients come to see me, I pull messages from the non-physical place and I give it to clients the way of questions, comments, statements. This non-physical part of us, and I'll be getting into the metaphysical section, is what I believe is not necessarily the fastest, though I think it's fast, is the fastest, cleanest line to healing for myself using the intuition, the non-physical part. That's what I do. That's what an intuitive does. And that's what I do full time. And I love what I do. So that's a bit about me. And let's get started. Let's just jump right in. All right. So I have a theory about illness that is backed up by many well-known healers, Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton. The theory behind illness is basically this. we have a constant, steady force of love that's coming to us all the time. And I'm going to jump between metaphysical words and quantum physics worlds, okay? So we have a constant stream of energy, of quantum energy coming towards us, just healing energy. In metaphysics, we call it divine love. So choose which word you want to use, okay? So we have this constant stream of loving coming to us all the time, 24/7, healing energy. For example, if I cut my finger, I don't think, is it going to heal or not? Because I trust it. There's quantum field coming towards me. There's healing coming. It's going to cut. It's going to heal. So this energy is coming towards me. Why can't I heal? A lot of us have chronic illnesses. Why can't they heal? It's because we have these tires in the way. So we've got this energy coming to me, and I've got tires blocking it. I've got tires and cars and stuff in the way. What are these tires? They're my subconscious beliefs. They're my subconscious thoughts. They're my subconscious way of being. And in the theory that I have that's backed up by all these well-known healers, is that the process of healing is about turning up the volume of the love and the healing and understanding what these tires are to heal them. It's understanding what our subconscious blocks are and healing them. And we're going to do a bit of both today. We're going to do both increasing the love. We're also going to become aware of our subconscious stuff. We're going to do both. In my work, especially in the ICT course and in the month that we're going to be together, if you decide to join me through November, we're going to be spending time on how to access these tires. And for those of us who are on the call, and there's a number of us who have taken the ICT course, the year-long course, it's the rest of your life you're figuring out your blocks, okay? But it gets easier and easier and easier the more you do it. So much easier. So as you remove these blocks, physical things start to change. Physical reality starts to change. I have this like very slight niggly discomfort that I've had on and off for 20 years. I have a bit of plantar fasciitis in my right foot. I'm blessed because I'm pretty healthy. I eat well, I exercise a lot, so it doesn't really bother me. But then I've been focusing on this divine feminine, something I'm teaching tomorrow night. And when I allow that energy in, the pain goes. And I know it's not even pain, it's like the slightest bit of discomfort, but it goes faster than I can snap my finger. So the work never ends. And I had to discover that I had a tire blocking me that was my masculine that wouldn't let the divine feminine in. That's an example of how things can change instantly. So let's talk a bit about quantum physics. Okay, so quantum physics, and again, if I lose you, don't worry, because I know a lot of you are used to me teaching a more metaphysical style, but just play with me, okay? The mind influences matter, and matter influences mind. There is no separation, okay, at all. In fact, somebody who was on the call told me something that was going on my website, and first thing I did was I called my web designer going, hey, help. And the second thing I did is, what in my website, because it's my website, is a reflection of something in my mind? There's two parts, not only my website, but what is me? Because mind, matter, mind, okay? There is no separation. In this experiment called the double slit Lapic experiment, which is kind of like the fundamentals of quantum physics, what they discovered is there's these electrons, like the smallest little particle, tiniest little particle of matter, When they send it through a double slit lamp, this tiny little particle has infinite possibilities. It can become anything at all, anything. It's infinite wave of possibilities. When that little electron actually becomes something, becomes an actual particle, becomes a physical thing, in order for it to become a physical thing, what it becomes is 100% dependent on the observer by the mind. Because as soon as the observer says, this is what's going to form, that's what that particle becomes. And then if the mind looks away, the particle goes right back to electron. What that means is, and this has been studied over and over and over again. If you want to look it up, double slit lamp experiment, you'll see tons of YouTubes on there. So that shows us that electrons, the tiniest source of particles, can become matter 100% based on the observer or the mind. And that's super important to understand. And so scientists say, great. So particles at a tiny level can become things based on mind. But what about big things? And the argument is the only reason we have trouble moving big things is because as humans, we're lousy, crappy observers. What we do is we observe the past over and over and over again. We look at the present, but we just don't observe what we want. And most of you have heard this in the metaphysical world. But what I want you to understand with quantum physics, the key is to understand there's infinite possibilities. And it's all based on the observer or the mind. So let's talk a bit about something called the quantum field. The quantum field is a field that emanates around us. Some of us call it the aura in the metaphysical world. That's about 3 feet. And this is the influence we have, okay? In the Eastern world, and like Buddhism, a lot of different Hinduism, and a lot of different worlds, they don't think about anything about there being a separation between this energy field and the human body. Though in Western medicine, it's very slow to figure that out. But in quantum physics, this energy field is exerted on matter, and matter exerted on the energy field. We just talked about that. Now, this energy field is called the quantum field. It can also be called the matrix. It's also called, how there's me, and if you look at the cells, there's space between the cells. There's me, and there's space between me and my computer. It's not space. This is matrix. This matrix can also be called other things. Some people call it God's field. Some people call it universal energy field. But this field is a substance of creation. This field is what becomes matter. This field is influenced only by us and our thoughts. This field, this is the key if you remembered one thing from today's class, this field has infinite possibilities in the now. Right now at this second, it has infinite possibilities to choose from in the present now. Now, how do we exert our influence on this field? Because we're all walking around this field 3 feet around us all day, every day. How do we influence this field? There's 3 basic things. Number 1, being in the now. And I don't just mean now at 6:19 p.m. I don't just mean now at 6:19 p.m. on November 7th. Not just now. Many of us have had this experience. I mean now, when you are completely devoid of thought, of awareness of your name, of your age. And many of us have had that. We're in a really deep yoga class and we come out, we're like, where am I? Right? Many times I've left my rings at yoga classes because I'm like, oh, I don't know where I am. Some of us have experienced after mushrooms or cannabis, right? It's why people do drugs, because it feels so great. They don't know who they are. It's awesome. That feeling of being in the now is one of the most important things to influence the quantum field. And do you notice it's all consciousness? It's just, where am I focusing now? Without awareness of my body, this home, present, past, future, just now. Second thing that's important to influence this field is having an open heart and living from love or above or gratitude or higher. But it's not just the emotion, it's having the elevated emotion with intention. So thought and emotion has to be in coherence. So they say in quantum physics, the thought is the electrical charge in this magnetic field, and the emotion magnetizes to it, okay? But they need to be in coherence. So you can have a thought that, let's just say you have a sore shoulder. The thought becomes, I want my shoulder to move with ease, but also the emotion has to be love or freedom. Having them in coherence is absolutely necessary, because when they're in coherence, that's when we can influence this. Okay? The third is very similar to the second, living in that emotion of love or higher more often, being in that energy of gratitude, because the heart is the strongest electrical and magnetic field ever out there. The brain is very strong too, but the heart has found to be stronger. This is the only problem. This is why it's broken into 3. The only problem is none of us that are on the call, most of us live in North America. Some of you are from UK, some of you are from Australia. I know I have a mixture of people on the call tonight. Most of us don't live in India in a cave meditating all day. Okay, not one of us do. So most of us are dealing with things like dinner, a job, raising our kids. And what happens is we might be in this emotion of love and intention for 20, 30 minutes. Then we go back to raising our kids. And before we know it, we're back into our subconscious thoughts. And we're going to get into that in just a minute. Okay. So exerting onto the quantum field is important with the divine I am, which we're going to do. We're going to do meditation just a second, take a break from all this quantum physics crap in a second, quantum physics stuff in a second. But then we move into the subconscious, which I will in a second. The reason it's not just about living from heart, intention, and thought, it's like living from heart more often, because it's so easy to flip into our subconscious, which we're going to do in just a second. So let us do a mini meditation, and then we're going to go into the next layer of the teaching. Close your eyes. And just breathe into your belly. Belly rises and belly falls. Take an inhale and an exhale. Breathe in breathe out. Belly lifts and belly falls. With your eyes closed and your breath moving, go back to that meditation we did at the very beginning of class, where there was a calm and a connection and a breath in your body. Just go right back to that if you could. And just breathe that low, slow flow of breath in and out. Now imagine, sense, see, or feel that you are in a beautiful place in nature. The most important thing about this place is that you are safe and comfortable. Comfortable and safe. As you breathe in, breathe out. Once you're in this place of nature, notice all the things that make it feel safe and comfortable. Notice the colors. Smell the aromas. Feel the air as it crests against your skin in your safe and comfortable place. Breathe in and out. Belly rises and falls. In your safe and comfortable place, start to visualize that quantum field, 3 feet diameter all around you. And you can make it bigger too. Start with 3 feet. What thought do you want? Let's start something really simple, like vitality. All of us want vitality. Think vitality. Whatever that thought means to you. Now, very important, what emotion does vitality bring to you? Breathe into that emotion and start to visualize it in your quantum field. The thought is the electrical charge. The emotion is a magnetic charge. So imagine there's a knob or a knob switch, and I'm turning the volume of the emotion louder. I'm making even stronger the emotions that go with vitality. What does it feel like in your body? Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. And just notice what you feel. The more often you do this, being in the now, forgetting past and future, the more you do this, the more you're having an exertion on your quantum field. If you do this more and more and more, you're increasing that love towards you. And just breathe into that in that low, slow flow of breath in and out. Belly rises and belly falls. Take an inhale, move into an exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. If there's any area of your body that might be feeling even a little bit tight, just bring energy into that area. See the quantum field around you, see the color that's there, and just breathe in this pulsation of this field that you are creating with your thoughts and your emotions. It can be a very powerful 2 or 3 minute meditation to set up your day. Take about 10 or 12 more deep belly breaths. Good. Open your heart just a little bit more. Turn the volume of the vitality switch up just a little bit. And notice what you feel like in your body. The matter of your body is being influenced by the field. the field is being influenced by the matter. And the more you focus on it, the stronger it gets. And just continue to breathe. Beautiful. I can tell you what I'm observing. I want you to stay here. I can tell you what I'm observing energetically. A lot more of you are more open. This beautiful space of calm and centeredness. Some of you are a teeny bit rattled, and we'll get into that in just a minute. It's almost like everyone's just dropped into their bodies. And there's a calm and open-heartedness and more energy on a Sunday night than there was there a few minutes ago. And I really want you to take stock or notice of what shifts you're experiencing. Even if you don't think there's any, just notice them. That's a really important part of the work. If you can notice your wins, notice what's happening, you're going to create more of them. 2 more breaths. When you're ready, bring your awareness back to your physical body. There's no rush at all. Take a stretch if you want. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes, stretch if you want, feel how you feel. Good. Okay, yeah, they're saying just let them be in this for a second, and we're going to keep moving because there's some more fun stuff to talk about. Just get 1 or 2 of you to type in how it felt. Just if you don't mind, you don't all have to type in, but maybe just 1 or 2 of you or 3 of you. What do you feel now that you may or may not have felt before? Maybe all of you type in, not fussed, but just type in. What did you feel doing the quantum field exercise? We only did it for 3 minutes, guys. Like I said, I've got lots of fun stuff to teach. I just wanted you guys to move through it. Awesome. Jenny wrote in lots of tingles. Excited, opportunity, beautiful, energy flowing, calmness. Nice, nice. Awesome. Sunday nights are all about setting up our week. Buzzing that became calmer and stronger. I felt excited as we increased the volume. Ooh, Melissa, I love that. That's how powerful we are. Turn the volume up. Awesome, guys. So that's, remember I said we're going through a bunch of parts. That was part 1 on quantum physics, okay? That's how powerful we are. We influence this field. Now we're moving into the second part. And it's not that I want to move us quickly. I just want to get through some big stuff so the next 3 weeks we can dive into more processes. So that's how quantum physics works. Every thought and emotion we're experiencing influences the field around us, and that field then influences our matter. It's actually that simple, right? And quantum physics proves it, and it's all based on the observer. What are we observing? What's going to happen to the quantum particles? Now, remember I said a few minutes ago, okay, I can turn this volume up, but remember there's why isn't that if I can just do that, why can't I heal everything? If I can just sit in meditation, why can't I heal everything? Because of those tires, because I've got a life, because I have to order dinner, because I have to take care of my kid. My subconscious blocks, which are those tires, will block that energy from coming in. Okay, you might still get snippets, but not all of it. And as I shared at the beginning, a lot of the work is figuring out what the subconscious blocks are. And some of you heard I was tuning into y'all as a group, and I felt this openness, but I felt a few of you, and there's not a judgment. I felt a few of you were like, am I really allowed to feel this good? That's a subconscious block. The subconscious block is, am I allowed? Am I deserving to feel this? And I'm sure some of us can relate to that. And we have a lot of these subconscious blocks because the bottom line is we have 40 to 60,000 thoughts a day. It's a lot. And most of the times, most of the people I teach in my class are typically older than 20, just on average. And most of them have I call them reflex emotions, like just dominant emotions they go to. Typically overwhelmment, anger, fear, worry, sadness. We get grief, guilt. We just have these dominant emotions, okay? And that's just the way we're patterned. And now if we're in those emotions all the time, that's the effect on the field, okay? But a lot of the work is figuring out, where did that subconscious thought begin? So this is how it works. Let's get into a bit more sciencey on the brain, because I said we're going to talk about the brain with subconscious thoughts. So we have 3 main sections of the brain, okay? We've got the frontal prefrontal cortex, which is the human brain. Humans have it. Sorry, my brain's not kicking in right now. It's okay though. But gorillas, primates, they have it too. So it's more the logical thinking part of our brain is the planning part. That's called the prefrontal cortex. Then the part in from that is called the mammalian brain. That's also called your emotional brain or your limbic system part of your brain. And that's where all the emotions and the fears are stored. That's where our subconscious stuff is stored. And then the third part of our brain is a reptilian brain, which is like our brain that keeps us alive. Okay. So we have these three parts of our brain. Now, the part of our brain that I don't want to say screws us up, but screws up that healing the most, if you want to be straight up, those tires, is that subconscious, the mammalian brain. Because your frontal lobe or your prefrontal cortex is going, I want to heal. Prefrontal cortex is like, I want to get out of pain. Prefrontal cortex is saying, I want to feel happier. I want to get rid of this issue. Prefrontal cortex knows what it wants. Where the block is the mammalian brain, which is the limbic system brain. It's where all of our subconscious is stored. And when our limbic system is activated and we're in fight or flight, we go to fight, flight, or freeze. The thing is, those are typically activated from traumas between 0 to 12 years of age. Most of you have heard me teach this before. And it can be older, anytime there was a trauma, but it's a trauma that your adult brain doesn't go back at, but the kid brain inside of you interpreted as a trauma. I'll give you an example. I was working with this woman the other day. She came in as a drop-in, lovely woman in her 30s with relationship issues. She came to a workshop I taught and loved it, so came in to do a drop-in. And she said to me, Divi, my problem is not health. She's a nurse. My problem is relationships. I'm like, okay, what's up? She said, the last few partners have all been narcissistic guys. Okay, guys who take from her over and over again. And so she feels emotionally like all over the place. Okay, so didn't take long. Pretty quickly, we saw that when she was younger, her mom was also a nurse. Her mom would work these long night shifts, come home, have 3 young kids. Husband was off working somewhere else, long hours and long days. So the mom had to kind of juggle nursing 12 hours, raising 3 daughters on her own, essentially. So mom would come home from work, and the daughter, when she was 6 to 8, the mom would go from like happy mom to exhausted, I'm exhausted, throw things across the room mom. And so as an adult, the woman looked back and go, yeah, but it was hard. But I said to her, looked at her and I said, what did that feel like when you were 8? She said, I was scared shitless. I said, keep going. She said, I was so scared that she was going to turn and just become this person who was so mean. And she kept going and going and going. And then at the end of it, I had her pause and sit back and reflect. Everything she said that she was scared with her mom was the same emotion she had with this narcissistic boyfriend that she kept bringing in. The exact same match. They were her subconscious tires, okay, of what had to heal. And in her case, because see, this is the thing as an adult. As an adult, we can rationalize it. We're like, yeah. But that wasn't the experience of the childhood brain in you. So in order to move these tires, we have to become conscious of what our subconscious blocks are, what our fears are, what our unconscious knowings are. And that is, in my experience, one of the majority of part of the work of healing is to understand what they are, because we can rationalize it till we're green in the face. But the experience as a child was different than what we think as an adult. And the thing is, again, going back to the brain, I'll give you a couple examples in just a minute, but actually I'll give you that example because they're showing it to me. So I've run a number of businesses. A lot of you know I ran yoga studios before I did this work. And because I ran the studios with my husband would have different emotional reactions than I did. Okay. So one of my emotional reactions is a bit of perfectionism. I grew up with a dad who expected A+, blah, 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 that whole Indian story. And so when I would get an email from a client this is in the yoga world, who would say, I'm not happy because of a smell or something, I would take it so personally. My whole insides would clench like this. I'd stay up at night, upset and angry. Husband would be like rolling over, sleeping and snoring. I'd be like, we should be upset. What's happening there is my limbic system, my midbrain, my emotional brain has hijacked me. Okay, it's called hijacking your brain. And then what happens is when your nervous system is affected by a strong emotional response, goes right into your body, you get cortisol and adrenaline released, your immune system drops, total fight or flight. But the thing is, most of these life day-to-day things are just life things. And I mean, the email came in. You don't think anything about them because it's just how you're reacting. Well, you don't realize it's your subconscious going cuckoo. And not cuckoo in a bad way, but just like most people don't realize that their emotional responses are different or more than somebody else's, because they just think, well, everyone's going to respond this way. And that's not necessarily true. And some of us diminish how bad that fight or flight is because it's just like, well, I've always done this since I was 12. When my dad left and now my husband goes out of the town, I clench. And I'm like, well, that's not normal. And they're like, well, it is normal because I've always done it. That's a subconscious clenching on abandonment. These are just examples. And most of us can't see it because there are tires. It's how our brain is patterned. Okay. So the next part of healing is to understand what's going on in our limbic system that's causing us to fight, flight, or freeze. And the more we can look at these subconscious things and actually start to become aware of what they are, look at these tires and start to heal them, then if we're not responding from these subconscious things, then what happens is our nervous system can calm down. We're not pumping out cortisol and adrenaline all the time. And that's where healing begins. That's where that light that we talked about at the beginning, the quantum physics light can come in, divine light can come in, and we can actually start to heal because we're not blocking it with all these subconscious things. They want me to say one more thing. The problem is most of us don't realize is we're actually firing from subconscious stuff more often all day, every day, from how we raise our kids, from how we make dinner, from how we do this, from how we do that. And it's just so deeply patterned. So I'm going to go through a couple of steps that's absolutely imperative for us to start to understand how we can start to become aware of the subconscious. Number one, breathe. Breathe. Because if you breathe in the brain, you break the limbic system looping. Okay. Number one, breath. Number two is mindfulness. Mindfulness is huge. So if I could step out and observe that I'm losing my mind based on an email that came in versus I'm in it, that's where everything changes. As soon as you can become mindful. Mindful is and has been the hot word for over a decade. Mindfulness is observation of thought. So I'm observing, so I have dinner coming at 7:10 tonight. So my thought just went to, I'm observing that I'm excited about my great food that's coming. So mindfulness is observing where my mind is going, but not being attached to it. So let's use that example of the email that came in, because I'm sure that affects a lot of people. They get an email and then they go downhill, okay? So mindfulness is, I'm stepping out of myself and I'm observing that an email came in and a part of me is reacting. So you talk about it in third person. A part of me is reacting from 0 to 100. Do you see how all of a sudden you're breathing, you're mindful, you're all of a sudden not in it as much. Mindfulness is huge. Then step 3 is to journal. Or hire one of our fabulous intuitive coaches that we've trained. They're phenomenal. They will help you because a lot of times, even by mindfulness, breath, and journaling, you still can't see it. Just so you know, I do this work full time. I know this too well. But when you're working with a coach, they can reflect it back to you. And the fourth thing with practice is start to understand where it comes from. And in my own experience, that's where working with an intuitive is super powerful, because typically what we can do is we can show you, oh, this comes from when you're 8 years old, or we can pull the thread and as to where the story comes from and help you to identify it, to heal it. Okay. So this is how we start to become aware of those tires and start to move them. Okay. And that's when the healing can start to come in. And don't forget, I am going to do Q&A at the end. We're going to do a meditation, then we're going to move into metaphysics, my most fun topic. So go ahead and close your eyes. One more meditation. Oh no, there might be one more. Let's go ahead and close your eyes. Just take a few deep breaths in and out. Let's pull all the meditations we've done so far together. So the first meditation of going into belly breathing. Go back to that. Slow breath in. Deep breath out. Long breath in. Slow breath out. Belly rises and belly falls. Let's pull in the second meditation. Go into that safe place in nature. That beautiful place with the colors, the sounds, the earth, all of it was perfect. And just breathe in and out. See yourself in this place in nature. See how young you are, how old you are. See yourself. As you see yourself in nature, it's this beautiful vision of you. you might start to notice there's actually a golden key right in the center of your heart chakra. That golden key is your key to healing, your key to your subconscious blocks. I want you to see it there. And just breathe. Now, if you wish, you know you can take that key into your hand and begin the journey of opening the door to healing yourself, because it's lifelong. You're the only one who can decide to take that key. And as you take that key into your hand, you're saying to the universe and to yourself and to me that you're willing to heal your stories. As you're willing to heal your stories, you're willing to move the tires. I want you to see those tires be moved aside because you've picked up that key. And as the tires get moved to the side, I want you to start to visualize or imagine more of that healing light coming right to you. Take about 10, 20, 30 breaths. In and out. Slow breath in. Deep breath out. The key is in you. It always has been. You can access it. It's 100% in you. Take a few more breaths. Belly risks and falls. Feel that heart open, turn that volume up to the heart because you move those tires. There you go. Feel the love expand in your chest even more. Gorgeous. And when you're ready, go ahead and take a stretch, open your eyes, and gently bring yourself back. Welcome back, everybody. We've got one more section, and we'll open up to questions and answers. And we'll wrap the first Sunday Soul Activations. Just type in how you are, how that meditation was for you, how are you feeling, picking up the golden key, how was that? Just type in 1 or 2 lines if you want, or not. How are you feeling right now? Excited, scared, didn't want the key, do want the key. Where are you guys at? Good and calm. Thanks, Kari. Awesome, guys. Whew. All right, give you guys 1 second just to come back into your body. Oh, love that it's inside of you. Yeah, me too, Jenny. It's the best part of it. It's all inside of you. It's not inside of anyone else. Mine isn't inside Ramen. Ramen's inside Ravi's. It's all inside of ours. Awesome, Andrea. Relaxing. Awesome. I'm going to say one more thing before I go into the last section of the class. Healing anything that's going on in our lives, in our bodies, in our hearts, anything, is a process and a journey. And never ends, and never, ever, ever, ever ends. And that's the best part of this work, in my opinion, is that it just never ends. And it's just so beautiful. I just want to read these last 2 comments because they came in at the end here. Araya wrote in, lots of feeling in my heart, and that the key was so warm in my hand. That's so beautiful. And Kieran wrote in, a bit hesitant to take the key. Got it. But the prefrontal was saying, take it, take it. Yes, 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 Kieran, take the key, honey, it's yours. And Raman wrote in, feeling calm and gentle. Then Shala wrote in, thank you, amazing. I needed to remind myself that the key is in me. Yeah, hun, it's in you. Now, this is the crazy thing. I can say one more comment before I move into the last section of class. Sometimes the key, let's say, pretend this is the key is in me, but I can't see it. Because it's like, I just don't want to see it. It's like that 8-year-old that I don't want to see. I don't want to see that trauma. I don't want to see it. That's where, again, either working with an intuitive or a coach is super helpful. And we're going to jump into this. This is going to make sense in the next section, okay? So now that you know the key, but you can't figure out what it's saying to you, this is where deeper understanding of metaphysics comes in. Okay, so last section of the class tonight. And then we'll do then I'll stop talking. We'll do questions and answers live. Okay, last section. I told you that was really content heavy, but I feel like I've got most of you here. So thank you, everyone, for sticking with me. Metaphysics. This is my favorite section. Most of you know this is my favorite section. Metaphysics is my favorite part because to me, everything has energy. And as intuitives, we can figure out what that energy is. That's why I love intuition. So for example, when somebody comes to see me, I'm making this thing up. I might answer this in the live Q&A afterwards. There's somebody on the call who has stomach. I can feel somebody has like this in their stomach going on, like whatever that word. It's congestion, but it's more like a pressure right in their third chakra. I can feel it in somebody. So to me, when I look at that, so I love intuition, it feels like it's a combination of worry and being frozen. Okay, like they're stuck. Okay, and whoever that belongs to, that's for you. It's my little gift to you, but you're stuck, and life doesn't have to feel stuck. To me, using intuition with the body is such a huge gift, because it's like, okay, well, this is what the person's experiencing. Intuitively, what is the energy behind it? Because what metaphysics does is metaphysics says every particle has an energy and it's moving. And what is the thought and emotion that's causing this particle to move to manifest this discomfort? Okay. Now that's part one of metaphysics. Part two is that we have, and again, you don't have to believe this, but I'm going to go really into the metaphysics world. And if I lose you, just take the first part, forget this. But I think most of you are going to come with me. The third part is that we have all of these guides, this non-physical energy that's actually part of us. This guides and energy want to serve us, and they want to help us, and they want us to heal. The first thing, like Kieran just showed us, is we have to be willing to take the key and say, I want to heal. The second part is we have to be willing to surrender to these guides, because our guides are like, okay, Raman's saying I want to heal. I know, Raman, you don't have back pain. I'm going to say this. Raman's saying I want to heal my back pain. And so what Raman has to say is, I've got the key, but I'm willing to surrender. What that means is she has to be willing to say, I'm so willing to surrender that no matter what my life becomes, this back is hurting me so much that I'm willing to learn and understand my subconscious thoughts, no matter what it takes. So number one, take the key. Number two, surrender. Because our guides want to answer to whatever's going on for us. I had this pretty excruciating thigh pain back in the summer, the beginning of summer. And I literally was lying on a massage table. I literally surrendered. And I said, guys, like it was pretty bad. And I said, I couldn't figure out what it was, because it was one of these subconscious thoughts back here. And I was working with my coach, and she was helping me. But then what I had to do was I had to say, guys, literally, I will go through anything, like anything, if you'll help me figure out what this is. I was in that much pain. But in that act of surrender came the answers, which have come in the way of understanding my divine feminine, other work I've been doing personally, and understanding my relationship. But it took me saying, I'm willing to do anything. So number one, grab the key. Number two, be willing to surrender. Number three, listen to what your guides are saying back to you. Because your guides and non-physical are working with you 24/7. And a lot of times it comes in the way of contrast, things we don't like. And that's why it helps to understand the universal laws, which we'll be talking about. You know, for some of you came in late, I've got a 4-part webinar series going on with Lynette that starts tomorrow night. Register, it's on our website on the ICT webinar. But one of the weeks we're going to be doing universal laws. Understanding universal laws is actually imperative to understand what the universal guides are giving us. Okay. But when we understand what the guides are giving us, then we can understand what we need to change in us so that we can shift it. So I'm going to give you the example of mind matter that happened with this group. So one of the women who's on the call, she said she registered for the call for the months, but she was running some computer problems because of my website. And I was like, okay, so get my tech guy to figure it out. He spent yesterday figuring it out. He's figured it out. Awesome. Thank you, tech guy. So if you register for November and December, you have to hit a couple buttons just because that's what we had to do. But I had to look at what in me is causing that. And I had to just sit in meditation and go, okay, well, I haven't taught a live group like this for a while, so maybe part of me is scared. Oh God, yeah. I spent 5 hours today working on these papers because I was scared. Okay, guys? Because I haven't taught a live class, and that too on quantum physics. But that energy in me, mind, matter, then caused a technical glitch in my computer. Cool. I changed the mind stuff, the matter changes. Does that make sense, guys? But that was my subconscious stuff of being afraid. Got it? We all have them. No matter how long you've been doing this work, we all have them. But you have to be willing to look, and you have to be willing to surrender. Okay? And have to be willing to figure out, what is the universe telling me? Okay, so we're going to do one more meditation, and then we are going to wrap and take questions and answers. Go ahead and close your eyes. Whew. And just take a few breaths in and out. Let's take each meditation as we've come. Step one, go into belly breathing. Step two, find that place in nature. Step three, bring in your divine support team. What does that mean? Bring your guides, your angels, your ancestors, all of your non-physical energies, bring them in. Beautiful. This non-physical energy, all of these energies, your guides, your angels, your ancestors, I guarantee you, no matter how big your room is or small is, right now that room is filled with these energies of love. Now, the next step I'd love you to do. So whatever you're experiencing in your life that may or may not be working, especially if it's not working, I want you to surrender completely, asking for help. And now that you have surrendered, trust me, the universe is going to answer you. And just breathe in and out. Now I want you to observe, become mindful, observe. Observe, was it hard to do this? Does not part of your mind fight the divine support team? Does any part of you fight surrendering? Those are tires, guys, those are tires. And just breathe in and out. I'm going to say four more things before you come out of this meditation. Put your hand on your heart and say this to yourself in your own way. You can say it out loud or just in your head. I am worthy. I am love. I am part and parcel of the universal energy of the divine. I am an aspect of source in a human body. I have infinite consciousness. I am infinite love. Healing, light, love, all of it is my birthright. And as you say this to yourself, you can see some of those tires aren't even yours. They're part of your family lineage, part of stuff that you were born into in your DNA of your family. A lot of it you want to return to sender, but you got to work through. Take a 10 or 20 more deep breaths. I am worthy. I am love. I am part and parcel of the divine. Take a few more breaths. Keep your hand on your heart if you wish. You might even start to feel buzzing, electric, soft, hot and cold, whatever. Just feel it. Go back to the belly breaths. Feel your guides, angels, and ancestors. Some of you are starting to feel warm. This is very normal. And when you're ready, relax your hands. When you're ready, move your shoulders, move your fingers. Remember, you've got a body. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Coming back. I'm just going to say one or two more things before we open up for Q&A. First off, I want to thank you. I know it's Sunday night, 6 o'clock. You guys, thank you for showing up. Thought this would be a fun way to start next week. I'm going to stop the recording in a minute and take a live Q&A and record that separately. Means the world to me for you guys to show up live. So appreciate it. And if you're watching the recording, thank you for watching the recording. If you want to register for my 4-part series or 3 more weeks of November, it's all on healing. December's all on shadow. I'll send you guys a link later on tonight or tomorrow for that, probably tomorrow. And I hope to see all of you back into Monday night's webinar series. Tomorrow night, I'll be teaching Divine Feminine Energy. Don't ask me what I'm teaching. I don't know yet. I know that I teach that topic, but don't ask me what. I'll know tomorrow. But I hope you guys can come to that. But I'm going to hit stop record and do Q&A. Before I open it up, if you do not want your camera on, take your camera off, because in a minute, we're going to see everybody else. So hand on your heart, stay in your body. I'm going to hit stop record. If you don't want your camera on, that's totally cool. You can still ask questions. Thank you, everybody, so much. Hit stop record. Let's go into Q&A.